My little artists. Now that we have watched our video on Leonardo da Vinci and we've learned a little bit about this painting, which is called Ginerva da Benci, which is this lady's name, we are going to have a little bit of fun with this painting today. Now, the paper you have only has her face and her neck. We've cut out all the other parts that Da Vinci had painted, and we are going to be adding our own design. So this is kind of similar to what our pictures are going to look like when we're done. But all I'm going to show you how to do is how to do her hair and her dress, and then you guys are going to add in some details. Now, in this one, there's a lot of lines, right? A lot of lines. And once we're done with all of our lines, you guys can go back in color. I left this one black and white because this is the example, but we are going to go back and add in a lot of lines. Okay, so get your pencils and turn your paper over and write your name at the top. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to write your name, and then we're going to flip our papers over and start drawing. So go ahead and get your names. Once your name is on your paper, flip it over, and we're going to get started. Now, we're not going to draw her hair like Da Vinci did. We're going to give her a more modern hairdo. Maybe a hairstyle that some of you guys have. Well, not some of you guys, some of you gals. Some of you guys have long hair, not a lot of you. Okay. So the first thing we are going to do, now if you look at your paper, you can see how her forehead kind of meets in a point right here. See if you can find that point right there at the top of her forehead, because we're going to be using that point to help us draw her hair. Okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to take our pencil and we are going to trace along the edge of her face. And then we're going to add in this curl of her hair. Okay, so we're going to start up here, and we are just going to trace along the edge of her face. And then when you get to her neck, go ahead and stop. So you started at that point, and you're just curving around the edge of her face, and stop down here once you get to her neck. Because then what we're going to do is we are going to curve out, and then we're going to make the curve of her hair. So I just drew some curved lines and ended in like a big hook shape down here at the end. Now, does your hair have to look exactly like mine? Nope. Doesn't have to look exactly like mine. Okay, now I'm going to draw from the end here. I'm going to draw a big smiley face. Big smiley face. And that's going to give me one of her curls. Okay, I'm going to come up here. Find her eyebrow. Find her eyebrow. And come up just a little bit above her eyebrow. And we're going to draw another little smiley face. And then we're going to do the rectangle of her barrette. So just come up above her smiley face, or above her eyebrow, and draw a little smiley face. And then we're going to add a rectangle. Drew a little rectangle for her barrette. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw from this. We're going to come up and around past that barrette and curve it over to the edge of the paper. Now, I'm not going to come all the way down to the very bottom corner here. Okay, I'm going to come right about to where we stopped before we started drawing her curl. So I'm going to come up and around, up, 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 go past her barrette before I start curving back down, and then curve into where my finger is. So I come up and around past the barrette and over. Okay, now I'm going to come to the barrette we drew, and I'm going to come up to the top, and I'm going to draw a curved wavy line all the way back up to this line. So it's going to come out of the barrette, and it's going to curve up to the top of her head. Okay, now I'm going to come to the middle of the barrette, and I'm going to follow this line all the way up to her hair, but I'm going to start at the barrette and go up. I'm going to come in between that line and this line, and we'll draw another one up to the top of her head. Now from the bottom corner of her barrette down here, I'm going to curve down, just made a lot of wavy lines, and it's going to connect to this line down here before it makes this other curl. So this one's going to be a really wavy line. Lots of S's, but I want it to touch that one before coming down to a little point down there. And then I'm going to draw a smiley face up to the edge of my paper. Okay, now from the top barrette here, I'm going to draw just a little rainbow line. A little rainbow line there, just a little one, and a little one right underneath it. So two little rainbow lines right underneath it. Okay, then I'm going to come back up to the top of her head, and I'm going to draw a wavy line that comes down, touches both of these, and then curves into her hair here. So it's going to curve, wave up, touch both of those, and then go up to the top. So I think I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to curve it, just some waves, make sure it touches both of those lines, and then it's going to curve back up to her head. Big wavy line. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and trace around the other side of her face. We'll go back and add in some more lines of her hair in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and get the other side of her head. Come down to her chin. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and trace around the rest of her neck. So just take your pencil and go around the rest of her neck. We can add in the rest of her dress. And the other side of her hair. Now before we can do the hair on this side, we need to do her shoulder. We need to do shoulder and finish her dress. So we're going to start in the middle, right here. See the straight line down here? We're going to start here in the middle. And we're going to curve over and then down. Okay, we've got to give her shoulder. So I'm going to curve over and then down towards the edge of my paper. And that's going to give her shoulder. Okay, now to do the other side of her hair, what we're going to do, now we've got all these lines up here at the top. This last line that we drew, that's where we're going to start. And we're going to draw a little rainbow line that's going to come all the way down and curve back in towards her eye, but not touch the line by her eye. So I'm going to start up here. And it's not going to curve way up. It's going to curve just a little bit up. And then curve in towards her eye just a little bit. So I started at that line and just curve down to where it almost touches her eye. But I'll leave a little bit of room. Now I'm going to come up to where her eyebrow is. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to make it touch this line and then curve it down to her shoulder. So I'm going to start where her eyebrow is. Make it touch her line, the line of her hair, and then it's going to curve down to her shoulder. Okay, now we've got most of her hair and the outline of her dress done. So the last thing we're going to do is we are going to add this circle here. We'll put a circle right here in the middle. And then add another circle in, like a donut. Now at this point, I'm going to let you guys finish adding in the lines of her hair and her dress and adding in the lines around. If you want to do these circles, you can. You can add stars. You can add any other designs you want. But we are going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to draw some extra lines in here. You guys can draw whichever lines you want. And we're going to finish up her hair and doing around the outside. And then, like I said, if you guys get finished, you can add some color. Just going to add some lines for her hair. Just adding in just some little lines. Okay, so finish up her hair, her dress, add some different lines in. Go ahead and fill in your background, and then you guys can take the rest of art and color it in if you want, or you can just leave it black and white. It's up to you, however you want to do it. And I hope you guys had fun. And until next time.